All right, number one, simplify. Write your answer using only positive exponents. So we simply rewrite this as a fraction, okay? And we take this piece, we bring it to the denominator position. All right, now I'm not switching these values. I'm not bringing the one up here, all right? When I bring this piece down, there's still a 1 next to it here because multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything. And on the bottom we have 4 to the third power now. All right, so when you bring it into the opposite position, then the power becomes positive. And from there we have 1 over 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. Number two, simplify. Write your answer using only positive exponents. All right, 3 squared is 9. X to the 0th power is 1. And then I have 4 to the negative 1, so I bring that to the top. And I bring z to the negative 4 to the bottom. So I'm changing the positions of these terms, so then the power becomes positive. And do the same thing with y. All right, so pretty easy to simplify. Oh, I shouldn't have put 0 here. Sorry. Big mistake. Anything to the 0th power is 1, always. All right, 9 times 1 times 4, that's 36. And then I have y to the 5th over z to the 4th. Done with that. All right, number 3, simplify. Write your answer using only positive exponents. All right, so I'm dividing powers here. They have the same base. So I take the top power minus the bottom power. So 3 to the 3rd, and I can rewrite that as 27. All right, number 4, simplify. Write your answer using only positive exponents. Here I'm multiplying, so I add the powers. 5 to the negative 3 power. All right, I don't want a negative power, so I bring it down to the opposite position, denominator position, and I get 1 over 125. For 5, simplify. Write your answer using only positive exponents. A big mistake a lot of students make here is that they don't put the 1 power here. There's always a power of 1 if you don't see anything. So I'm multiplying both of these powers by the negative 3 because it's a power to a power. So I have 2 to the negative 3 times x to the negative 18. And that's equal to 1 over, then I have 2 to the 3rd, then I have x to the 18th. So I have 1 over 2 to the 3rd power is 8. I have x to the 18th power. Done. Rewrite the expression in rational exponent form. Okay, if there is no root there, then there's a 2. All right, square root is used so often that they just omit the 2. All right, so I have 15, and whatever the root is, that's my denominator, and there's nothing outside here, so that means it's raised to the power of 1. That's your numerator. Done. Rewrite the expression in radical form. Okay, so here's my radical. This is my root. And then I raise it all to the first power. But raising it to the first power doesn't do anything. All right, simplify the square root of 49. So what times itself is 49? It's going to be 7. Simplify the cube root of negative 8. So what times itself is negative 8? That's negative 2. So there's your answer. All right, determine whether the table represents a linear or an exponential function. All right, so for the x values, I'm adding 3 each time. And we're not really concerned too much about the x values. We're more concerned about the y values and what's happening. So with the y values, what's happening here? I'm not multiplying by anything. I'm subtracting 9. Subtracting 9, subtracting 9, subtracting 9. Okay, so if there's a common difference, which there is here, that means it's a linear function. Just as a little side note, what would make it an exponential function? It would be exponential if for the y values there was a common multiple. For example, if I had times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 each time, then it would be an exponential function. Just as one example. All right, 11, evaluate the function for the given value of x. So I have y is equal to negative 3 times 4 to the second power. So I have negative 3 times 16. Negative 3 times 16 is negative 48. All right, make sure you don't multiply these to start with. You have to do the powers first before you multiply. Remember PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Write a function that represents the balance after t years. Okay, $5,000 deposit, that's my principal, 8%. Rewrite that as a decimal. That's my R. And compounded quarterly. Quarterly means 4 times a year, so that means n is 4. So let's plug these values in. And we just have t here. That's it, because they didn't give us the number of years. So simplifying this, I get 5,000 times 1 plus 0.02 times 4 to the t power, and then that simplifies to 5,000 times 1.02 to the 4t power. So altogether I have a is equal to 5,000 times 1.02 to the 4t power. Done. Solve the equation. Notice that the bases are the same. If the bases are the same, the powers are the same. They're equal to each other. Subtract 5x. Negative, or not negative, 2x is equal to 12. Divide by 2. And x is equal to 6. That's all there is to it. Solve the equation. Okay, have to apply a bit of your exponent knowledge here. I'm going to rewrite this using negative exponents. All right, so essentially I'm going backwards. And then I multiply these here, so I have 6 to the negative x equals 216. And now I could rewrite 216 as a power of 6. That's 6 to the third power. So now since I have the same base, I can set the powers equal to each other. Negative x equals 3. So I divide by negative 1, and x is equal to negative 3. Simple as that. Done. Okay, a little review now from chapter 4. Write the equation of the line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the given line. All right, parallel, that means they have the same slope. So y equals mx plus b is my equation. I'm using the same slope as the other equation, so that goes here. Y equals 3x plus b. And then to figure out b, I use the point that they gave me. That's my x and y. So I have 5 is equal to 3 times negative 2 plus b. 5 equals negative 6 plus b. Add 6. And b is equal to 11. I take this, plug it in, and I have my answer. Done. All right, piecewise function here. Here I have the graph in negative half x minus 1, so I start off at negative 1, and then negative 1 over 2 is the slope, so I go down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. All right, then we'll go backwards. All right, it says our restriction is all values of x less than 4. So here's 4 for x, and I'm going back. I only want this part of the graph. That's it. So that should be an open circle. For the next one, I have x. Its slope is 1 over 1. I start off at 0, and I go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. And I go backwards. All right, so then at x equals 4, I start that graph. It's all values of x greater than or equal to 4, so I go to the right. All right, and there's my piecewise function. All right, for x is equal to negative 2, where are all the points on the grid where the x values are -2? Right here. All these x values are -2. So all those points together make up your line. As simple as that. Graph the linear function, start at -2, and then go up 1, right 3. Up 1, right 3, down 1, back 3, down 1, back 3. This should be pretty simple stuff now. On to the next problem. Okay, I'm just isolating the x value. We'll subtract 2 first. I get -8 is less than x over 3. Multiply by 3 on both sides. I get -24 is less than x. I want x on the left side, so I just switch everything. So I get x is greater than -24. Done. Last problem. Get x by itself. I multiply by 4 on both sides. 3x equals 24. Divide by 3. And x is equal to 8. All right, if you have any questions, if you need any clarification, please make sure to ask for help. This review will prepare you very well for the exam.